I spent so much time calling myself lazy before I finally admitted something else was going on. I remember waking up after 11 hours of sleep, staring at the ceiling and thinking, there is something seriously wrong with me, because even the thought of standing up made me want to cry. Before we go any further, hit subscribe and leave a comment that says, "Me too," if you have ever woken up exhausted after sleeping too much, because these 7 signs are what finally made me realize I was not lazy, I was depressed. Sign 1. Exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. My body felt like wet cement every morning. I would hit snooze again and again, and by the time I got out of bed, I already hated myself. I thought I just needed more discipline, but a 2023 study from the University of Helsinki found that depression lowers ATP production in your muscle cells, which is your body's energy fuel. That bone-deep tiredness is biological, not a choice. Here is what you can try instead of waiting for energy that never comes. The 5-minute rule. Pick one absurdly small action, like sitting up against your headboard or drinking a glass of water, and only promise to do it for 5 minutes. Research on behavioral activation shows that movement often generates its own momentum, so you are not forcing a miracle. You are just breaking the freeze. Sign 2. Losing interest in things you used to love. My guitar gathered dust in the corner. I used to play for hours, but now I felt nothing when I looked at it. Not sadness, just flat emptiness. A 2024 study from the University of Pennsylvania reviewed 47 trials and found that nearly 70% of people with depression experience anhedonia, where your brain stops releasing dopamine for activities that once brought joy. A practical way to fight this is to schedule a short, no-pressure date with an old hobby, 15 minutes on your calendar, and then show up even if you feel completely numb. Research shows that the feeling of pleasure is often delayed. It typically appears about 15 minutes after you begin, not before. So you are not pretending to have fun. You are just giving your brain a chance to remember what fun felt like. Sign 3. Pulling away from people without a real reason. I canceled plans constantly, first with good excuses, then with silence. I loved my friends, but pretending to be happy felt like a job interview I would fail. A 2025 study from the Karolinska Institute found that depression lowers oxytocin, the bonding hormone, during social interactions. A low-pressure fix is to aim for micro-connections that ask almost nothing of you. Send a single text that just says, "thinking of you," or ask a friend if you can sit in the same room while each of you does your own thing. You are not signing up for a deep conversation. You are simply reminding your nervous system that other people are not threats. Here is a pattern interrupt that hit me hard. Lazy people actually enjoy being lazy. They skip a chore and feel relieved. But me? I lay in bed and felt guilty. I avoided work and felt worthless. That guilt is the clearest sign you are dealing with depression, not laziness. Lazy people do not cry over dirty dishes. You cry because you hate yourself for not doing them. Sign 4. Brain fog that won't lift. I would sit down to write a simple email, and 40 minutes later, I had typed 3 words and opened Instagram without realizing it. I felt stupid. A 2024 study from Cambridge examined over 3,000 depressed patients and found that 85% had serious trouble with focus and decision-making even when motivated. Depression impairs working memory and executive function. One way to work around this is to slice every task into pieces so tiny that they feel almost laughable. Opening the document counts as a victory. Typing one sentence counts as another victory. Research on cognitive load shows that small completions rebuild your brain's sense of momentum, like laying down one brick at a time instead of trying to throw up a whole wall. Sign 5. Sleep becomes a battlefield. Some nights, I lay awake until 3 a.m., even though I was exhausted at 10 p.m. Other nights, I slept 12 hours and woke up feeling like I had not slept at all. A 2023 WHO meta-analysis of 62 studies found that people with depression are 3 times more likely to have insomnia or hypersomnia because depression disrupts melatonin and cortisol. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire sleep schedule overnight, focus on anchoring just one thing: your wake-up time. Get up at the same hour every single day regardless of when you fell asleep. That single anchor slowly pulls the rest of your internal clock back into alignment over a few weeks. If you cannot sleep, get out of bed and do something boring in dim light until you feel drowsy again. Let me add a little dark humor. I once told my mom I was too tired to brush my teeth. She looked at me like I was crazy because brushing takes 2 minutes. But for me, it felt like solving calculus on a treadmill. That is not laziness, that is a brain on strike. Sign 6. Irritability over nothing. I started snapping at my roommate for leaving a cabinet open or chewing too loudly. This flash of rage scared me because I was never an angry person. A 2025 study from University of Toronto found that irritability is present in 54% of depressed patients, often misdiagnosed as anger issues. Depression lowers your frustration tolerance. A simple tactic that works is to memorize one short script to say before you explode, "I am not okay right now. Can we talk later?" Naming your state gives you a tiny pocket of control, and research on emotion regulation shows that labeling a feeling reduces its intensity. Then physically walk away, even if it is just to the bathroom for 2 minutes. Removing yourself is not running away. It is the single most effective move you have. Sign 7. Believing you deserve to feel this way. This almost destroyed me. I started to believe I was broken, that other people had real problems while I was just weak. A 2024 Harvard longitudinal study of 800 people found that feelings of worthlessness are the strongest predictor of depression becoming chronic, because they stop you from seeking help. The most important step you can take is to treat the thought, "I am lazy," as a symptom, not as a fact. Then say out loud to one person what you have been hiding. You do not need a solution or a plan. You just need to speak the words to a therapist, a doctor, or even a trusted friend. Research on disclosure shows that keeping secrets is more damaging than the secrets themselves. The moment you name it, the shame begins to loosen its grip. Here is a final pattern interrupt. People who are actually lazy do not spend hours Googling, "Why am I so lazy?" They do not cry over their inability to do basic tasks. They just move on. The fact that you are watching this video, that you care enough to search for answers, is proof you are not lazy. Laziness does not come with guilt. Depression almost always does. The day everything changed was not dramatic. I sat on my bathroom floor, too tired to stand, and I said out loud, "I think I am sick, not lazy." Those 7 words broke something open. I called a doctor. For the first time, someone told me that my exhaustion, emptiness, brain fog, sleep problems, irritability, and self-hatred were not character flaws. They were symptoms. I started small, waking at the same time, eating one real meal, texting one friend. It was slow, but 6 months later I picked up my guitar again and cried because the feeling had come back and I had almost forgotten what it felt like. So here is what I need you to hear. You are not lazy. You never were. Calling yourself lazy has only made everything worse because you have been fighting an enemy you did not know the name of. Depression is real and treatable. The hardest step is believing you deserve help, not because you earned it, but because you are human and you are struggling. If this video made you feel even 1% less alone, hit subscribe and leave a comment that says "not lazy" as a promise to yourself. You do not have to fix everything today. Just take one tiny step, like saving this video to watch again when you forget. I am here, and it can get better. See you in the next one.